We're talking Five Nights at Freddy 2. Contrary to popular belief, this is not a horror film. This is a documentary of a desperate man. We have returning characters Mike, his sister Abby, and Vanessa dealing with trauma from the very first movie. We also get a brand spanking new villain. This is Minor League Films. I am Scotty. Got my boy Flyknit J next to me. J stands for Jack Boot Mechanic. And we just hit 1,000 subs. Thank everybody for liking and commenting. Please like, subscribe, and comment some more in order to be entered in this gift card. We're going to be running this for the next couple of videos. And without further ado, let's get into this review. Now, Flyknit.
Yeah.
We've seen some bad movies. We've seen some awful movies. But then there's this.
Well, I saw the first one.
There's bad. Well, the first one I could deal with. This one is a whole other level of BS. So let's go ahead and get into it. It starts off in the flashback in 1982. I believe it's in Minnesota. And we're at the very first Fazbear pizza restaurant. And you see this little girl sitting there. Obviously, this little girl is a loner, and she's a loner not by choice. And then you catch this blonde-haired girl coming up to her as she's sitting on the middle of the stage, waiting for this original character called the marionette to show up in the middle. And the blonde-haired character, I knew right away who it was. I knew it was Vanessa because she came over there with the smile that says, "I choose you, Pikachu, for murder." That's what I saw. So when Vanessa comes over to Charlotte and she's trying to get Charlotte to rejoin the birthday party and whatnot, and Charlotte's still kind of, I guess, her only friend in the world is this marionette who she's never talked to before at all. And so when Charlotte declines her invitation, she sees the big Fazbear animatronic just pick up a boy in the middle of the crowd of adults. And so the next thing Charlotte does, which is natural, is run and tell all the adults, "Hey, did you guys see that? I need help. I need help. He just took so-and-so." And all the adults are just telling her one by one, "Nope, screw you. Nah, I'm busy. Go back to your parents. I don't have any parents here. Oh, well, just go away. Go away forever." There. That scene, it starts off crazy.
Yeah, it's like, one, somebody's not watching their kid. If a dude in a giant suit could just open a door and lure him in and close it on him, I'm like, okay, first of all, somebody's not watching their kid, which is already crazy. Second of all, man, like just the parents' reactions this whole time is just like, it's ridiculous. It's like, no, I can't help you. Go away. F you, kid. It's just like, it's a little bit ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, we're already setting the tone early for what I knew was coming.
Like, I can see one parent, even two parents saying, "Hey, go find your parents. I don't have time for this." But all of them, that's where I was like, okay, we starting off a little bit. We starting off rough.
And the worst part too is like nobody is his parent or her parent, which you should be watching your kids.
And so when none of the parents want to help her, which I actually did like Charlotte. She's the only character I pretty much liked in this film. Charlotte actually goes to handle business. James Bond mode, Mission Impossible mode goes back there. And she sees the boy lying on the ground and sees William Afton like cleaning a knife. Like, I think he's going to kill the boy, or he's already killed him. And she, again, Arnold Schwarzenegger, James Bond, picks up the boy and is carrying him out there with the big mascot behind her. Now, I did like this scene because I was like, oh, we have a new hero. This is the hero of the movie right here. She's going to be adult and she's going to teach him something. And so when she's walking out of the door and all the adults see her come out on the front stage, that's where she ends up, as a front stage. All the adults see her and it's like, oh my gosh. And she lets out this huge, like, blood curdling scream and then falls, conveniently showing her back with 3 stab wounds. Yeah. And then the marionette picks her up, her best friend she never talked to ever. Yeah, and the adults are still sitting there.
One thing is that I like thought about just to open the scene is I was like, one, she's not going to be able to make it up out of there. Like if the villain for the first movie, that's the flashback, if he wanted to take her out, he easily could have. This whole dramatic scene probably shouldn't have happened. But yeah, it's just the fact that this happens and the parents have zero reaction to anything that's going on. Like, it should be like, you think about it, real life, it'd be chaos in there, and they're just like they're watching a stage show. Like, you've been to this restaurant before. Like, this is not your first time here. At least a couple of you have. You know this is not how the show goes.
And not just that, what actually kind of got on my nerves about this is just a little bit, and some people might call it a nitpick, but the father could have probably kept doing what he was doing at that same restaurant if, like you said, he would have just scooped her up and taken her back there too. But he kind of was like, oh man, she's too powerful. She's Thanos. She got so much durability. I gotta let her go. I thought that was kind of silly, but whatever. Look what we're watching. It starts off crazy. It's already 1 out of 10. So then you go 20 years in the future, 2002, they've shut down that original restaurant. No arrests were made, no fines, no nothing. Let's just shut it down because someone died here. Cool. So we go 20 years later, and we have Mike talking to his sister, Abby, who's 11 now. It's a year after the last event of the first movie, and Mike is getting ready to, he's talking about his dinner date with Vanessa later on. And I kind of want to stop here just for a second, because this date is ridiculous. Just planning a date with Vanessa is ridiculous. Vanessa is the daughter of the killer, who is complicit in dozens of murders, and Mike knows this. Mike also knows that she didn't even tell him about what was going on until his sister was like 5 seconds away from getting killed, along with him, and that there were ghost marionettes. The first thought Mike has is, I got you. I'm gonna take you out for dinner. That is some crazy desperation. That's why I said this is a documentary of just Mike. This is crazy. He actually has some problems other than him having childhood trauma. He has some other problems, man. This is like the first woman he's ever seen. The only woman. It's like the only woman in town his age. It's got to be.
Yeah, I would believe in this town, because this town is missing a lot of people that should be around. We'll get into that later. But yeah, it feels like this movie, I feel like, does his character Vanessa a disservice. It puts her on screen as like seemingly a good person, seemingly somebody who's trying to do the right thing. Like what she does on screen while you're watching this one and the first one is like, okay, fine. She's trying to be a good person. She's trying to do the right thing. And they keep shoving in this backstory of making her a horrific person. Like you said, being complicit in all the murders of the kids in the first one by not turning your dad in, which you are a cop. That's your job. Like, go do it. And then in this one, where she continues to have more stuff in the backstory that you feel like you've known each other for a year, you survived this traumatic experience. Like, you would be like, okay, like, I need to tell you, like, and we'll get into it later, but maybe this person's around. There's this other restaurant that you may not know about, which your sister had this, I want to call it psychotic event where she's talking to the dead. I mean, I might have the words wrong, but this thing where like, you might be aware there's another restaurant too. There may be more things there that can get in contact with her. So she's just hiding way too much information to be a good person.
Yeah, and then to take her out on the date after that is, I think, that's why I say she's the only girl in that town that's his age. Gotta be. That's the only choice. I mean,
she fine. Like, I get it. If you put, it's funny. There's this page on Instagram called Mug Shorties, and it's like really attractive girls in their mug shots, and under there it's like, I could fix her. It's like, we definitely get it with Vanessa. He's probably like, I could fix her. So especially in that town, like, I don't really blame him. But yes, she is crazy.
Yeah. So, and we have some after this. It's kind of like a throwaway scene almost, in my opinion, because when Abby's going to school, they kind of paint a little picture like Abby's also a loner, not by choice, but no one's really bullying her. No one's mean to her in this movie. She even has a creepy kid that talks to her. The kid is creepy for no reason. This next scene, I guess he's just a creepy kid. I thought something was going to come out of that. We have Mike's friend in the same scene after that. The black dude named Jeremiah, who I think they only say his name one time. He's just there. And even he says, don't take Vanessa out. She crazy. I said, boom, he sees it. He don't even know what's going on, and he sees it. But when Abby gets to school, I thought this was funny, but also kind of ridiculous. The teacher, played by Wayne Knight, is basically telling all the students in the school, in his class, they better show up to the science fair or they all fail, no matter what they did throughout the year. And then he even looks at Abby, and Abby's trying to get her experiment together. And she's actually, everything was pretty cool that she's doing. She's building like another like Chica robot or something, but miniature. And he's like, I got to tell you something. I don't want you anywhere near this science fair. You can't do anything right. You ain't smart. I just want you to be there and sit in the corner and don't even show your face. Put a mask on. The teacher's riding her all class, like just being mean. And then there's this.
Yeah, Wayne Knight, who, I love that actor. He's great in a lot of movies, and he's funny in this movie. They just push it to the point where he's so ridiculous. But yeah, it's like he's to the point where he's treating like one. These are kids. Like this is not like college. This school's it's not like a prestigious high school. Like this is what middle school it would have to be. Like
Yeah,
he's treating these kids like who are building these projects that like you would look at like an 11-year-old builder like wow that's crazy anything they're doing. He's treating it like you guys suck. Like my reputation's on the line. And to the point where it's just absurd, the point where he's willing to ace her for the year just for not showing up because his science fair is that prominent.
yeah. And he knows that she can't hack it. I understand.
Yeah.
I had teachers just like that. If I'm being honest, and said, Kevin, don't worry about it. You can pass. Just don't show up at all.
I get it, but he does it to the point where it's basically like bullying.
Yeah,
he's bullying this kid.
He's making it worse. Like her trauma is all coming back because of him. So the night, and this is the next scene, the night where Mike is going out on his date. Let me just start here for a second. Mike ain't got no drip. Mike has no fashion sense. He got an olive green shirt, blue tie, some wrinkled khakis, and some tennis shoes from a couple years ago. Because, as you know, Mike has no job. His restaurant that was abandoned, that he was working at, is now abandoned again. So, he has no other job. There's no other abandoned buildings in town he could work at. But he leaves to go to this dinner and leaves his crazy sister in the house. And then leaves her a $20 bill. It's only been a year. No therapy, no nothing. Just stay in the house alone. I'm going to turn off all the lights in the house. You stay here in the living room by yourself. I won't even lock the door. You'll be fine, is what that scene was. It's crazy. So... yeah. It's like Abby. I thought once again, this is a cool little solo Easter egg. Abby's watching this horror show, like it's kind of like Ghost Hunters. I think it's called like Spectral Scoopers.
Yeah,
is what she's watching. And that's an Easter egg for a little bit later. So when Mike and Vanessa are at that dinner, and Vanessa's basically telling like how she's been coping with the trauma, and she has like 35 years of trauma. She's doing workout classes to try to move on. Mike is talking about he doesn't know how to handle his sister and doesn't know what he's doing. And he told her that he would go back to fix her friends, which I thought was kind of weird too. Like, hey, sis, I'm sorry to tell you your friends are permanently gone. That probably would have been better for her to say that.
Yeah.
Just say your friends are gone.
Yeah, than leaving her because he's basically blue balling her. Like he's leaving her with the expectation like he's gonna be able to fix these animatronics, and they're coming back when he knows like they are destroyed. And to his knowledge, there's no way to possibly bring them back. And also going to bring them back is probably worse for the trauma that he's trying to fix in her. So he wasn't gonna help her regardless. And then he's also at the same time trying to help, like you said, Vanessa go through her stuff with her dad and like her as well. So it's just like the thing is everyone's trying to help each other. Instead, they all should be in therapy. That's what really should be a part of this movie. But instead they don't. And like I agree with your point. Like Abby's 11. Like it's not like she's a teenager. She's in high school. Like she can take care of herself. Like again, if in older times, maybe you do this, but probably not at night. Like if it was during the daytime, probably fine. I've stayed home as a kid during the day, been just fine. But at night, to a kid that has trauma, that's been through what she's been through, hire a babysitter or have the friend come over and hang out with her for a bit. Like do something.
Somebody, because of course what she does is take her old bike and goes back to the abandoned restaurant, and she just sitting there. And I thought something was going to pop off right there because it's like you can't just go back to the abandoned haunted restaurant. That ain't a safe haven, Abby. But Abby has no fear, goes back there. Mike comes back to the house, of course, doesn't see her there. And he says, okay, I know where her crazy self went. She went back to the restaurant. And then he goes there and they find when he's leaving, he's trying to comfort his sister, and the sister's pretty much not having anything that he's saying. He says, you know what? How about you just pick up some kind of memorabilia here, and maybe that'll make you feel better. She picks up this thing called the Fast Talker, which automatically like glows on the ground when Abby went near it. So that's why she picked it up. It's kind of like it's not an Etch-a-Sketch where you talk, but it's kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch, I guess, if you would talk into it. Yeah. I guess, and the animatronic would talk back to you and say a couple words and whatnot.
Yeah, some invention that probably is not around in the 80s, just to put it slightly like today. Yeah, you probably could have something like that. And it could give you a couple phrases for then something you're getting with tickets, like that thing is way too advanced
Yeah.
for it to one exist at that point, and two for you to that thing would have had to, it would have been a billion tickets to get that.
Yeah. And so when they're leaving, which I thought this was also silly, when they're leaving, like on the gate that you have to unlock to even get in the place, they see a whole bunch of flyers on there about Fast Fest coming up, which I thought was weird because why are people covering this abandoned restaurant with flyers? That's not even a section of town anyone drives to. You never see any cars over there in this movie.
Yeah.
And then on that wall of flyers, you see a letter that says boycott. It just says boycott Fast Fest, and then the number underneath doesn't say anybody's name, it's just a number. And Mike decides to take that because it was so visible. Darren, it wasn't visible. It was behind all the damn flyers. No one could see that.
Yeah, I think he's just looking at
but Mike goes home.
No, I think he's just looking at all like the missing kids on the flyers and things like that, and then it blows and he sees the one under it. So that's eventually like how he finds it. But it called him, just like the Etch-a-Sketch called. I'm like I don't want to be on it forever, but they always throw something in here where it's like, if you had that, you could be a billionaire. Like, if you just, why are you at Five Nights at Freddy's? Sell this as a toy nationwide, and you never have to work again and go buy an island. But I digress. Continue.
Yeah, and so after that, this is why I thought that scene of Abby watching the show Spectral Scoopers was cool, because in the next scene you get the Spectral Scoopers team, which I gotta tell y'all, even for 2002, this is a terrible ghost hunting team. This is awful. They would get no views, but they go to the restaurant and the security guard lets them in there, and they keep saying Mike, Mike, Mike. So I'm like, oh, is Mike going crazy? No, it's not this Mike. It's another security guard that works there, also named Mike. That may be a nitpick, but I thought that was kind of silly. But
I thought it was a nice setup, because you were like, wait, why would Mike go back and show them? Oh, okay, so it's somebody else. And yeah, I'm with you. This feels like it's like with the time period, this feels like a ghost crew that would be around today. Like today, this be some kids you going around who are like just trying to get rich on social media and doing something successful. For a show going on back then, you need way more of a team, way more equipment, especially to be on television. No, this is like something you would put on YouTube, and at the level they're doing here.
It's completely unprofessional. And I'm not saying we are the most professional people, but they're kind of just walking around, the cameras all in the air and all kind of angles. That dude doesn't, it's three of them. That dude don't even care.
They don't have people scouting out locations. They don't have people like getting like set organized, like doing light. They have three people who are all they're not teenagers, but they could be teenagers. So it's like, this is just for a 2000 show. Like, no, they don't. This on television. No, it's not believable.
Yeah, at all. Like, I think Ghost Hunters maybe started in 2002 or 3. And even when they started in real life, they were a little more professional than that.
They had a real world production.
But so the group goes in, the security guard, Michael, is showing them around the restaurant, and they go back behind the stage and see the animatronics there are all shut down. They got tarps on there. And then the main girl of the group that does all the talking, she hears music. Sounds like a little music box. And when she hears music, they all decide to split up like the Scooby Gang, but they're not really hunting a ghost. So they split up anyway, and they all go in 3 different directions. That's when I said, okay, something's about to happen. This is about to be good. And so when they all split up, the security guard takes the dude that does all the filming, and Lisa goes way over there to, like, she doesn't just go to split up. Like, I thought she was just going to go in the next room and maybe something would happen. She goes like way back, all the way to like the room where the dungeon would be at. Like, it doesn't have no idea how to get back. When she shuts off this music box, this huge, the technology here is so advanced. Let's just say this is made in 1980, 82. A big, huge like gift box opens up, and it's the marionette from the flashback, and attacks her and possesses her. I will say this: I like the look of this villain, and I like how every scene that villain comes out, the marionette, it is kind of like a scary scene. She comes out, boom, she comes out very fast, very deadly, accomplishes her mission, and goes about her business. There's no, like, she's not lurking around the corner waiting for you. She kind of like she pops up, says, "Ooh, I want him." Boom, it's over. I like that. How do you feel about the villain? I like that part a lot.
Yeah, I thought they bumped up the scare because certainly she and it almost feels like I had to ask you. I was like, is this like actually Five Nights at Freddy? You're like, yeah, this is actually a real character because it felt like something
Oh
from The
wait,
Conjuring.
hold on. Wait 1 second. I was wrong. I think it was called something else. I don't think the marionette was in the games. I only played 1 and 2.
It's something like that because I've seen
It's
the
called
actual video
something
game.
else. Clicker something else.
Yeah,
I
but
forgot.
that character is actually in the game, which I am very surprised at. But this is like
Yeah,
I had to ask you because I'm like, this villain does not belong in this movie. It feels that way. It feels like this is something that we should have seen in The Conjuring Last Rites. Like
yeah,
it's that level of villain. So mixing that with animatronics is like, well, that's weird. But I do like this villain. One, this whole scene and the one you're talking about, like these people splitting up in this location they don't know and they're not following their guide, like it's stupid one because we've seen this scene in the first one where a bunch of people get massacred when they go in there. Like it's a repeat scene. But in this one, it's like, you're not going to do this here because just walking around this is dangerous. It feels like an amusement park where there's places you can fall. There's a roller coaster going around. Like you can just get hurt walking around that place, especially with no lights on. Like,
yeah.
why are you doing that in the first place? But when things got to go down and like they split up, and of course, because they have to, it's a horror movie. Then the marionette comes out, and I do like that character, and obviously that's that's probably one of the more action like gruesome scenes that are in the movie.
Yeah. And that was the one scene. Like I gave this movie a 1 out of 10. That's the one right there. Then after that, it just gets worse and worse and worse. But once she gets possessed and the people hear the scream, you see Michael having this devious smile on his face. I'm like, oh wow, he's in on it. Cool. Then both of the other crew members get destroyed. Like one dude falls into this. The river is long as I don't know what, man. The river that he falls into inside the restaurant, that's got to be like a quarter mile or something. That river, that's crazy, underneath the restaurant. And then a whole bunch of other dolls are in the water and they consume him. I thought that was a good part too. But after that, you see Michael running out of the restaurant because apparently he's not actually with the marionette. He just wanted to cause some chaos. She would have got him too.
Yeah,
And he leaves, and I thought it was interesting that she couldn't follow him out of the restaurant. Once he leaves, that was it. And he's looking maniacal when he leaves.
Yeah, so there's some in there they're stuck in there. But yeah, Michael is villain who just kind of comes out of nowhere. Kind of wondering like what's his backstory? What's his plan? Like why is he doing this? Because clearly he's setting up for something. It's like it seems very random, but we'll get into it later.
Yeah. So after that, we have Vanessa she's in a workout class, like one of the spinner classes, and she's having, now again, they did this pretty well. She's having visions of her father. Makes sense. She's pretty scared. She ends up getting off the bike, going back in her changing room. And I think someone who asks at her to ask if she's okay, she goes ahead and takes the gun out and points it at his face, which I thought was weird, only because I said, this woman cannot still be a police officer. There's no way that after all this, someone didn't turn her in. Maybe even the new black guy that we didn't see in the first movie could turn her in for something.
I don't think she's a police officer anymore because I think she's like her leave away from the force. I think she just carries a gun around for protection because she doesn't work as a police officer in this movie. So I'm pretty sure she's left the force by this point.
So she just has the gun. Okay, because neither one of them have a job. I was trying to figure out what's going on. Okay,
yeah, I think she's on some level of leave or something like that. She does no police work in this movie outside of the end where she does her own private eye work.
Right. Okay. So and then another scene which I thought this was well done. Vanessa goes home and she like finds all these objects that she had in her house that were her father's. So she puts them all around her in a circle, like in the living room, lays down, goes to sleep, and that's when she starts to like have kind of like a realistic dream of her father chasing her, saying that he's always going to belong to her, which I thought that line was very important. And to overcome her fear, she goes through all these visions and she ends up shooting her father at the end of that vision. And what do you think about that scene? Because I said, ooh, this is actually well done as far as her trying to get over her father. Let's just ignore her knowing and being able to do that to get over her fear. Let's ignore that. But the scene overall, I thought it was a decent scene.
Yeah, I mean, it gives a little background on that character, and that she's actually the one who's trying to work through her problems because it doesn't seem like Mike and Abby are really trying to work through anything at all. They're just kind of moving on. So she's clearly the one that's most traumatized, which she should be based on the events of the first one. And then you feel like at least she's trying to like work through it. And I like how it adds that kind of spiritual, I guess I could call it spiritual, like portion of that, because there's a lot going on in this movie where you're like, these animatronics, but what are they possessed by? Well, this stuff, like, what is it doing? So it's basically tying in this kind of spiritual stuff that's going on with her and her dad, and being able to go to the, I guess, another realm, be able to talk to him. So I thought it was cool. One of the more better produced scenes in this movie. So I was a fan. I'm like, okay, well, if we get more of this, we'll be all right. But you don't get much more of that.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of you, Mike has no problems. Mike's problems were solved in movie one. He has no problems in this one, except for he's desperate, and he shows it. He has no problems. He's like, oh man, his only problem. Matter of fact, him not having a job isn't a problem. He's fine with that. The only problem he had was making that dinner work out. But anyway, that same night, like after Vanessa has a vision that fights her fears, when Abby is sleeping, Chica, the bird animatronic, you hear her voice, and she's calling her on this little etch-a-sketch message thing and says, hey, I need some help, and gives her the address. You don't hear this part, but you have to assume, gives Abby the address, this 11-year-old kid, to the very first restaurant and says she's over there. So like 3 a.m., Abby just, again, rides out the house 15, 18 miles to this restaurant. Again.
Yeah,
this is like when I saw that in the theater, I said, "Come on, Abby, come on! This is where you tell Mike something going on." Come on.
Right, I have my hand on my face in a lot of scenes in this movie. I will tell you that. Chica, who's played by Megan Fox, if you recognize that voice, I want to give her a shout out. That's who voices her. But things with Mike is just he has no level of awareness. It feels like you just break into that house, steal everything, take it, leave, close the door. He wake up and just be like, "Where'd all my stuff go?" Like
he would say it just like that. He would say it just like that with no feeling. Damn, man, where all my stuff go?
But yeah, how they don't explain how she knows what a restaurant is. They would have had to give her an address. And I guess she would have had to, at that time, MapQuest.
Yeah, MapQuest, or a real map, which we've used before. We're old. So when she gets to the old restaurant, she sees Chica. They're embracing, and Abby even has with her like her broken science fair project, and so Chica actually helps her make a new science project, which actually looks really cool. It's like a robotic miniature version of her. And she's just saying, hey, you got to help me. I mean, I helped you. I really want to be with you. You know, just kind of swooning her a little bit like, hey, I need you to scratch my back so we can be friends again. And after that scene, which Abby doesn't get caught this time, she's able to go back home. I thought they were going to keep her there, but she goes back home. In the morning, another scene with Vanessa, like when she comes in there, and Abby showing off her science project. When she tells Vanessa how she got it done and where she got it done, Vanessa's like, oh man, she went back to the abandoned first restaurant where I was, you know, where the original villain is that was dead, and the marionette, man, I should tell somebody about this. It doesn't say anything. They try to have her try to say something. Mike, there's something I gotta tell you. She says it like twice. Then Mike's like, yeah, later. She should have stopped and said, no,
now.
Your sister's going to this restaurant. I forgot to tell you that there's someone even more powerful than my dad that's there. She's dead. She can't be killed, nothing at all.
Which is one of my most major pet peeves in movies, because this happens all the time. We've had this in we always have the old person that knows stuff. There was a very old person that knows stuff scene where they have something where it's like lives are on the line, and somebody's like, no, I'm just busy, tell me later. It's like, no, now, like, and they just be like, all right, I'll tell you later after you're in a traumatic experience or dead.
Yeah, and then Mike even and this is where they kind of slip this in. I think Mike has called that number, the boycott number already on there randomly. Then Mike is like, yeah, I already learned about Charlotte already. Because just the basis of Charlotte, I guess, just the basic of the first daughter, the first girl that got killed in that restaurant. He's like, yeah, I already called him. They kind of just throw that in there. But Vanessa's trying to start telling him that. He's like, yeah, I called the number, so I know about that. I found out, and you didn't tell me. So blah, 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 blah. And Vanessa's kind of like, oh, and she kind of gets annoyed. And I'm like, what are you annoyed about? maybe you should elaborate because maybe Mike still doesn't know the whole story, which he did. And she kind of just leaves. I was like, man, you're making us. It's like you want us to hate this character.
Yeah, she doesn't communicate. That's the thing. On screen, she's fine. On in the background, she doesn't communicate. She doesn't let stuff know. I think Mike they make him seem like a little bit of a dick, like in on screen because he's like really shoving off Vanessa, but it's like she doesn't talk like this stuff. Like if in real life you would have the same reaction, like you're not communicating and telling me stuff that really depends on life. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like you can stop me and like say this or like no, you have to hear this now or anything. It's just the communication in this movie is bar none until stuff hits the fan, and then it's like, oh, now you want to communicate.
Yep. And so now we get to the day of the science fair. Abby has her new project that she's proud of. And Mike, again, which I was noted this, Mike drops her off at the science fair like 8 o'clock at night and says, hey, I'll be back later. She's 11. She needs a parent guardian.
This part is important. He doesn't drop her off at 8 o'clock. He drops her off at 1 p.m. The science fair just happens to go until 10 p.m. at night.
Sorry, it lasts forever. You're right. I forgot it was late when he dropped her off. Oh my God. So then while he's dropped her off, he goes to visit Henry. And we get a little tiny scene, don't get any dialogue yet. And then Vanessa, by herself, she does have that piece on her, goes to the first restaurant, Freddy's first restaurant, goes to the music box and the big box that she comes out of. She's like, oh man, she's out. Well, she already knew she was out because Abby was showing her drawings in the house, and one of the drawings was of the marionette. And the only way she would have known that is going to like the old restaurant. So she went there alone again. And Charlotte's talking big trash on the intercom. Oh, you thought you could leave me? You thought it was a game? You thought it was sweet out here, didn't you, Vanessa? Didn't you? And so Charlotte doesn't really give her evil plan, but she's basically like, all the adults are the reason that I died and your father. But one thing that I thought was weird, because before she like doesn't really torture Vanessa, like they allude to like actual torture. I didn't see that. But while she's asking Vanessa questions and whatnot, she never says, it's your fault. She never says, hey, you could have stopped me, other than instead of just saying stop in that flashback scene, you could have stopped me from going in there completely and you let me go. She kind of just leaves Vanessa off the hook. Vanessa's fine.
I mean, I don't necessarily know if she let Vanessa off the hook because it wasn't really like her fault. I mean, what I get from the opening scene is like Vanessa was trying to be inclusive, invite her over. Obviously, she noticed something that no one else noticed, and when she went back there, I mean, no one saw her. So it was very, it's very logical that Vanessa wouldn't notice that she went back there either and disappeared because she just invited her over when she was standing there by herself. So Vanessa, it may not be her fault that she went back there and ended up getting stabbed and killed. So I don't know if it was necessarily that, but she probably does be like, hey, but like Vanessa, you're trying to stop me from getting my revenge, and that's where she has a beef with.
Yeah, and so we cut a little bit over, and we see they see Mike at Henry's house, and Henry's talking to him, and he says, "Yeah, I put up the boycott papers because I thought it would be good for my daughter that died. This is another way I'm going to handle grief of my daughter dying." I think this scene is very silly. It's not silly when you first see it. It's just silly when you get to the end where the after credit scene is, and then that's when it's super silly. It's like that scene was ridiculous, but it's just a small little scene. And then while he's there, Mike is learning about the rides. He's telling him about the different rides at Freddy's original location, the first one. And that's when he starts remembering, oh no, Abby was telling me about all these different rides and stuff. Abby's been there. It took him that long to realize that. And so when he calls the school, and when he calls the school is basically like, yeah, she left. She ain't here. And I'm just sitting there the whole time. I'm sitting there, I'm like, the school was not responsible enough to like try to keep the kid there, instead of letting her ride off on her bike somewhere.
Yeah, and how would they even know she left? Like I understand it's a science fair, but you're keeping track of people coming in. You're not keeping track of people coming and going. There's a lot of kids, a lot of adults popping up and a lot of stuff going on. So one, they wouldn't really know that. But also two, not forget the part where she shows up with the restaurant she just built and the science teacher, the true villain of the movie, just like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you got a new robot without her showing what it can do or anything like that, just breaks it. It was like, look, I don't care what you built, you gotta get up out of here. I'll even give you credit for the year if you just leave right now or go stay in the corner all quiet.
Yeah. And he just and I know the teacher is a jerk, but then Abby, of course, leaves to go back to the first location to cry to the robot bird about what's going on. And I'm just sitting there the whole time. I'm like, teacher should be fired. Like the staff should be fired just watching the kid go out there. Like there's nobody there watching. I thought that was like, oh man, I was terribly handled. So when she gets there, Chica pretty much says, hey, you know what? I can be your new project. You don't really need to make anything. You can just take me. But oh man, I have a problem. I can't leave. Can you please help me leave? And so they have to put a password in there, and Vanessa gives Vanessa, which I thought was cool too. This is a cool part. Vanessa is being like halfway strangled in the other room by the marionette, while at the same time the marionette is controlling Chica to talk to Abby. I thought that was cool. Yeah. That all contributes to my 1 point I gave this movie. It's all contributes to the villain. I thought that was really cool that she could do that.
Yeah, I mean, she could basically do anything that's that's necessary. Let's go there. But like most villains, not just this movie. But yeah, I thought it was cool how they got the password out. And obviously, it's smooth how Abby just comes in and is like, well, yeah, I can help you. Just you gotta let me out. Now, this whole lock thing that they have, who put it in place, how it got there, how this thing works, because I get it. Maybe the animatronics can shut off a radio signal and they'll stop working if they leave. But the marionette, the spiritual demon that's flying around, I don't understand how she cannot. I don't know what lock they have that's keeping her there. So
Vanessa says that she put like a perimeter lock, and then it's locked with just a.
It's just a password. It's
just a password. It's almost like it's an electric fence.
Yeah, in a building that was built in the 80s, like with the shut down before technology like that would even exist. If she came back and did it, fine, I get it, but they would escape before that, so no.
and then after that, Abby and Chica wait for a cab, and who's the cab driver? The same cab driver from the first movie. Yeah, there's only one cab driver in this town.
He ain't got a new job yet either.
Yeah. So and then Chica locks Charlotte in a locker, and that's why I said I thought it was too. I thought she would have got rid of Charlotte too, because Charlotte is now an adult, and Charlotte was complicit in what happened to a lot of other kids. But again, we can't harp on every bad thing in this movie, so it's going to have to overlook it. But I thought that was a terrible thing. I thought the villain should have got rid of her, especially just so I didn't have to see Vanessa anymore, honestly. So Mike finally puts the pieces together and goes to that original location. He finds the prototype animatronics that were they were trying to build in 1980, but obviously they've just been sitting there and rusting, and some of them are halfway built and whatnot. And then he finds the bodies of the people that were in the Spectral Scooper show, and then he finds Vanessa unharmed in the locker, and Vanessa tells him everything. Hey man, we got to reach the office and cut the signal off. And Mike is like, man, I got a master's in everything IT. I know everything. So just take me to the office. She says there's an office. It has no door to it, so you might want to be careful. But you know what we do have? We may not have a door, but we got your brain, and we got two perfectly charged walkie-talkies that have been charged in here, even though the electricity should have been out of here. And guess what? They have a range of 50 miles on it. Oh, so I'll go out and get Abby, and I can still talk to you on these walkie-talkies.
That was the scene. I'm like, really? They just veer over to some new walkie-talkies just sitting there, brand new. They might as well have left an Amazon box next to it because it's just about that believable. They just pull out. And Scotty, I thought about something, and maybe you might have an answer for this, but who built these new animatronics that are walking around? Because you think about it, there's the old ones from the first place where clearly the dad built them. Well, he's dead. he would have had no reason to build new ones because the other ones weren't even destroyed, and they held him and beat him down. So when you go over to
I have something.
this new, like, it might be someone, but they never. I don't ever remember them mentioning that they built these. So maybe it's them, but is that the reason? Because
They do mention it in one line. You just might not have caught it.
okay, maybe I didn't catch it. I was wondering. I'm like, who built this?
They don't do a good job explaining why the guy built it, but I'm getting to that. Like I'm going through the rest.
Okay. Then I was like, that had to be the reason, because other than that, this makes no sense at all.
So after Abby in the big 8-ton bird get in the cab, and the guy's like, damn, is this girl again? I need a tip, which I don't think she tipped. They go back to the science fair, and Mr. Berg, the teacher, is still like talking trash to her. So Chica hides in a random closet in the hallway and hopes for the teacher to come by that specific hallway, and then kills him in that hallway, and the janitor runs out to school. Now, Abby wins the science fair, so that's like the one good thing that's happened to her. And that's when Chica senses Mike in the security office using his superb IT skills, and uses her AI or whatever it is to be like, hey, everybody needs to go in that office and beat Mike down. Now, this is where I really got annoyed with, because while some of the animatronics are just trying to kill random adults because Charlotte hates adults, the non-completed animatronics are in the Fazbear restaurant, the original restaurant, looking for Mike. Obviously, Mike is in a security office. There's nowhere else in this restaurant that has any kind of other technology like computers in it. It's just a security office. They were wandering around that office. Not the office, they're running around the restaurant for a long time, for a good hour before they got to Mike. And when they finally get to Mike, he puts up this Fazbear mask, and they scan the face like, oh, that can't be a human. All that technology, like, nope, I see a human body, but that face, nope, that's one of us. And he does that. He does that like 4 or 5 times before it stops working.
Yeah,
and they still can't get him.
Is the point where he's in the office, which is open, there's no door, and they close in on him, and they don't really go anywhere. So he holds up this mask, and he puts it down, starts working. It's like, well, all the times he's working, they're not scanning it and being like, well, there he is right there. Like, they're literally like standing like right here, like next to him. So it was the most ridiculous scene, and I get it. They wanted to make it like a video game, but you put that on the screen in real life, it does not work. It feels silly.
Yeah, it does. But Mike is able to shut down all the animatronics except for Chica. I think Chica's the last one that's getting shut down. And Chica's like walking to Mike's house because she knows Mike's address, and carrying Abby in her hands. I thought that was a weird scene because I must have missed her falling asleep randomly. But apparently she's a kid. She got exhausted at the science fair, carries him in the house. And then she lays him in bed, and that's when Chica shuts down and opens up that chest, the marionette lunges at Abby and then takes over Abby. Again, villain looks cool. Villain does cool things. They don't always make sense, but the villain does cool things. I enjoyed the scene. At the same time where the marionette was doing this, they were pretty much beating Vanessa up and trying to yank her out of her car. They were just on the roof of her car randomly. Not sure how that happened or how she didn't notice that, but I'm gonna let it go because we can't harp on every bad thing.
Yeah, they're just fighting robots all across town. Vanessa does some superhero stuff, and also I love how Mike can just track these robots anywhere. I'm like, okay, this restaurant is super old, even if it has some GPS capabilities, which it wouldn't. I'm just gonna put that out there. It wouldn't. There's some stuff like the houses they end up at are new. Like, these are new builds. Like, it's the roads wouldn't have been there. This would have been somewhere they had to mow down trees and build this neighborhood. So it's like mapped out with, oh, they're on Main Street and cross with Cedar Way. It's like, okay, bro, whatever. What are we talking about at this point? Continue.
So Vanessa's car dies, obviously, because she had 10 tons of robot on top of the car and didn't notice. And Jeremiah.
Hold on. I got to stop you there. In that scene, the car that's driving across from her on the other side, clearly will be able to see this robot on the roof, sees her fly off the road and crash, and just keeps going.
Happens every day in Minnesota, man.
Busy, sorry, can't help
We got to
you.
visit Minnesota because they don't care about nothing in Minnesota.
Check in on her, nothing. Okay.
But so Jeremiah, the character that is to me is just a useless character in this movie. Maybe they wrote him some extra lines and they just cut it out because when he just so happens to drive by and says, "Oh, her crazy self is still on the side of the road. You need a ride?" Gives her a ride to the house. So she's at the house. Abby's at the house, possessed by the marionette. Mike runs to the old restaurant, and he's just begging and shouting, saying, "Hey, I need your help. My sister's in trouble. I know y'all can hear me. She needs some help." Goes back to the house. And when she gets there, it's a whole reunion. And they're trying to like tell the marionette to release Abby, like she's a good kid. Boom, 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 boom. And so Mike uses a music box that Henry gave him on Charlotte. And I guess it gets him out of Abby. But then you see the marionette kind of like scamper off down the hallway. And I thought that was weird. I'm like, oh man, I thought it was going to put her to sleep because that's what's supposed to do. She said, "Oh no, my weakness," like a crackhead. And I was like, oh, this is silly. This is silly. We're just going to let the villain go away because when they let her scamper away, they just start having a conversation in the hallway. Like the villain isn't in the house still.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening here? They must have cut a scene or something. Like, and so when the villain goes and they're having a conversation and the security guard arrives, Michael, he's there, and he reveals, "I'm the brother of Vanessa." Another thing that Vanessa has not told Mike, "Hey, I also have a crazy brother." And he's just basically says the same line the dad says, basically, "Will always be his. Come back with me." I don't know if that's a reveal that they wanted to give us, man.
Well, he wants to continue to work because he's also crazy. Because why wouldn't he be? At this point, the rest of the family is crazy. He has to be evil and crazy.
I thought that was such a silly reveal because I was like, oh man, you're trying to like milk this franchise, and there's not much here to milk.
No, they didn't have enough for this movie, let alone they try to pull at the end here. But yeah, he comes back, of course, and like when they're doing their dead to rights, of course, the old crew comes back, the good animatronics come back and save the day.
Yeah, because Mike actually he's able to order the old animatronics to attack, and then all the newer versions of animatronic come back and beat him down, and then Mike kind of just runs out the house. And so we let both villains escape. Michael's out of the house, the brother, and the marionette's just chilling in the back room taking a nap.
Well, don't forget the black dude elbows him in the face and knocks him out, so he should
That
be in
too.
jail.
But I'm getting there. Hold on. He knocks him out, but then you don't see him anymore at all. You don't see him, nor do you see the police
pick him up.
Yeah. So then you see the animatronics, like they lost all their charge, and the ghost kids come out and they're talking to Mike, and they're just like, "Hey man, we have to go now, but we're going to heaven. It's all good. But before we go, let me give you this ominous thing here. We're no longer able to hold him. He's going to come back." And Mike's like, "Oh man, there's only one person I could think of, but let me ask anyway. Who are you talking about?" Like, Mike is clueless. Mike doesn't do any drugs in this movie, but he seems like he's on something constantly. And so when they leave, another scene, this whole scene is weird. I keep pausing because Mike then finally says, "Vanessa, I can't trust you. Just stay away from us." Okay, when they're walking out the house, the spot where Michael fell was knocked out. He's gone. The marionette is still in the house. They leave. Vanessa's in the house still. The marionette casually walks up behind her and takes control of Vanessa, and the movie is over.
Yeah, all leading to a third movie.
You left all the villains. They had the villains dead to rights, and they just said, "Nah, I'm just gonna leave my house. I'm not gonna kick Vanessa out and then keep playing this music box in the house so it continuously keeps her at bay. I'm gonna close the box, leave her in the house. You know what? You can have the house. I don't want it." And that's where the movie ends. And when it ends like that, I'm in a theater, and the whole audience in my theater was just sitting there like, hello? What that's it? Two people clapping. You know, I jerked. I said, who's clapping at this movie? So, but I think looking back on it, they were clapping because it was over. That's what it was.
Yeah,
So
possibly.
man, we don't do number scores here, but before the post-credit scenes, I was giving this a 2. 1 point for the villain's design, another point for the stuff the villain could do. And you didn't see the post-credit scenes, did you?
I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one.
There's a second. The first one, obviously, William comes back. That was already hinted at. He's coming back. You just see his eyes open in the animatronic. That makes sense. That's a fine scene. Cool. But the end credit scene is when Henry is on like a recorder, and he's telling Mike. He left this message for Mike, and he's like, "Hey, Mike, yeah, I didn't tell you this, but I'm the one that helped William Afton make all the animatronics in the first place."
Yeah, because he got all obsessed with his work, and that's how he lost his daughter. Because he was, building the iPhone.
Yeah,
no, he was building
we were business.
Well, maybe he built the fast talker, and that's how he lost his daughter and that $1 billion idea.
Yeah, and it's when on the recording, he's basically saying, "Hey, I was helping them out. We're business partners for some years. I have some leftover equipment that you can track some of the animatronics with." And then he says, "Be careful of that marionette." Yeah, you're like 5 hours too late, maybe 5 days too late. And then you hear a bunch of noises. Obviously, Henry is dead. And that's the end of the movie. After that post-credit scene, I went back to 1. The only thing about this movie that I thought was done well is the villain and what she could do. Her motivation is fine. All the adults left her there. That's fine. But everything else, every part of dialogue in this movie almost, I thought was terribly done. Most of the scenes, I thought something silly happened that didn't make any sense at all. And I thought Mike is just not a great protagonist. I think the protagonist in this movie may be Charlotte, because Charlotte was the only person that did anything heroic in this movie, in the first flashback.
Yeah, this movie's terrible. I don't like it at all. It's definitely a strikeout for me. I can't recommend this to really anyone. I know, and this is why I blame all the people that hyped up the first one. I'm like, the movie was bad, and now you really you got what you wanted, something worse, and you probably get something worse in the third one. I say like the acting in here is not very good, but it's not terrible. I don't mind them, but the plot is just so bad. The writing is just so bad. And it's like they're working with nothing and they make it up scene by scene. They just throw stuff in there. They're like, oh, Ghost Crew, because that makes sense. Let's go do that. Teacher that's an asshole in school that's like, of kids. Let's throw that in there. Oh, deaths at just random places. Scotty, one question. Does this town have any police? Is there anybody working in this town that works at any level of emergency law enforcement or what you call it? Because even the family whose house gets broken into and they get threatened, they don't even call the cops. They just go to a neighbor's house and just kick it. It's like there's no police.
I think this is a self-sustaining community that had one cop that was Vanessa, and when she quit, that was pretty much over.
That was it. So it's definitely for me. I can't recommend this in any level of way, and this is bad. I'm more upset that there'll be a third one. That's
oh, we're gonna go see a third one. It can't be. I mean, I don't want to say it can't be worse, because it could be.
I said that about the first. This is worse.
And I just think that it started off so, I wouldn't say great, but it started off to me in a good direction that it was going in. And then it quickly went way down, like 10, 15 minutes in. It went way down. It kept getting worse and worse and worse. And post-credit scene is supposed to make you excited for the next film. This made me dread having to go watch the next film. So strike out for me, strike out for you. It sucks that we have to deliver bad news, but you know what? Somebody's got to do it. But that's been a great note. We are giving that gift card away, so comment on it. Sorry, what?
So that's been horror movies this year, but continue.
Yeah, on a bright note, we are giving away that gift card. So comment on this video and maybe on the next two, and then we're going to announce the gift card winner in the third video. So that's exciting. And if you want to find us on other platforms than this one, Flyknit, where can they find us?
Yeah, still got Kuronocomics on TikTok, MLF Shorts on both. There's going to be on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, so you can find those places there. But most importantly, right here on the YouTube at MLF HQ. So go ahead and hit that sub button, hit that like button. Appreciate all the comments. You guys have killed it, especially the last few videos. Done that, and we got to our goal mark. So yeah, can't wait to do that giveaway and continue to grow.
All right, I'm Scotty. That's Flyknit J. Catch y'all next time.